Because for me, it was like, okay, I'm looking at food and nutrition mostly from the perspective of what's available to me in its natural state, what's edible, what's tasty, what's delicious for me as a species in its natural state without processing, right? And that's when I come to the conclusion that fruit is the optimal, maybe some greens, sure. Okay, how in a natural setting would I be able to acquire 100 grams of protein per day? Well, that was the question I had in my mind for a while I was looking into this research, and I was skeptical, that's for sure. But then I started sort of thinking and remembering that when I was in Costa Rica, I tried eating termites. And I made a video about termites, I'll link to it here, and I'll make another one probably as well soon. I liked it. I enjoyed eating termites, okay? It was tasty and appetizing, and the next day I felt like eating more. So there was like a natural enjoyment of that food in its natural state. Living termites, just like eating them like that. I know it's not vegan, but then again, I'm not vegan in the sense that I'm trying to adhere to a label. I don't want to contribute to the animal agriculture, and I don't believe animal products are healthy for humans, except termites, maybe ants. Insects basically, but specifically termites. So not only did I like termites, but I also look at our closest relatives, the chimpanzee and the bonobo and the gorilla and the orangutan. They eat a lot of termites, okay? They love termites. So their diet is typically fruit, greens, and termites. I found that interesting too. Looking at our evolution, like going way back, it's pretty obvious that termites or insects was a big part of our diet, in addition to leaves, stems, greens basically, and mostly fruit, of course, mainly fruit. Okay, so now I have that. I liked termites. Our cousins, they eat termites. Now what about the science? What is in termites? I took a look at it, and I'll get into this in another video, but one of the things that is the case when it comes to termites is that they do have more protein. They're a pretty concentrated source of protein. Eating a little bit of termites every day in our natural setting would up our protein intake, and getting up to about 100 grams per day of protein, it's possible. It's certainly possible. Certainly we would, if we're eating this in our natural setting, we would get more protein than what we would just get from fruit. And also bear in mind another thing here. Some fruits are really low in protein, other fruits are higher, and tropical fruits, mangoes, jackfruit, cherry moist, they tend to be a little higher in protein than other fruits. Okay, so bear that in mind too, that if you're eating bananas, for example, are pretty low. If you're just eating bananas, like I am eating a lot of bananas, I'm already getting less protein than I would if I was eating mangoes. Okay, so already there we need to sort of make up for that lack a little bit, I think. But then again, the insects provide another source of protein. So then I ask myself, if we were to eat insects or termites in a natural setting in addition to the fruit, that means we would get more protein. And suddenly now, the diet, fruits, greens, and insects, matches up more accurately with the scientific literature on protein. Suddenly the 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilo body weight that is recommended by a lot of the literature, looking at athletes, looking at healthy populations, is now making more sense from a natural perspective as well, for me anyway. This is my observation. And also when we hear what the different plant-based doctors out there say, you know, T. Colin Campbell, Caldwell Esselstyn, Dr. McDougall, even Doug Graham, they talk about 10% of calories from protein, right? Well, if you're just eating fruit, you're just getting about 5 to 6% of your calories from protein. If you want to get about 10%, now you got to have another source of protein in there, and that's where the termites come in. So again, I'll save the details about termite nutrition for another video. But yeah, really, that's it, I guess. I've evolved, and I think this is good. You know, like I used to eat a standard diet. Then I learned some new information. I looked at things from a new perspective, and I found the raw vegan diet, right? It was amazing. My life changed. I was starting to eat more fruit, getting healthier. And then on my journey, rather than like stopping and saying, I know it all now, the fruit, that's the perfect diet, I keep looking, I keep searching, I try to keep learning and evolving. And now I'm evolving again, okay? I'm changing a little bit my outlook. I'll get into this more and more in detail over the next few months, but essentially I'm now recommending that people eat more protein, okay? And it's like, oh, it's like taboo, right? In the raw vegan movement, we always say, don't worry about protein. We laugh when they say, where do you get your protein? We get it from fruit. Oh yeah, no problem. And it's true, we're getting the majority of our protein from fruit. But is it enough though? Sure, again, it's enough for safety, for sort of general health, but is it enough for optimal health? Is it enough to thrive? Is it enough for peak athletic performance? That's the question. And I've come to the conclusion that no. Only fruit, and even with greens, even with a lot of greens, you're not getting enough protein for peak performance. So supplementation is necessary basically, unless you're in the tropics and you can consume termites every day. And also keep in mind that some people, myself, I haven't made up my mind on this topic yet, but maybe we want to not eat termites from ethical reasons. A lot of vegans out there might choose not to eat termites for ethical reasons, and that's fine. But we got to realize that if we're supposed to eat termites from a nutritional, biological point of view, then there's no getting around it. Without it, we will be less healthy. So if we're seeking optimal health, and for me, optimal health comes before my ethical choices, okay? Because the most ethical choice for me is to take care of my body and myself. Okay, so I would eat meat if that was necessary for health. I would probably want to kill it myself though, because I don't want to contribute to the industry, the cruel industry. But I don't think we need to eat meat. We don't need to eat meat. But termites, I think we do need it though. How can we make up for that? Well, that's what I'm going to get into in future videos. How to supplement your diet to make up for the fact that you're not eating termites. But when it comes to protein though, you have a few different choices. Well,